But why don't we do one more?
Yeah,
Do
let's
you
do
want to
it.
do the expired patents one?
Hold on, let me look at this list. I think there might be a better one than that. Because I think that one we might have talked about before. Let's talk about this fidelity rule change and what that might mean. So talk about the fidelity thing that you had here at the bottom.
Yeah, so Fidelity recently launched trading accounts for 13 to 17-year-olds. So before, I'm not sure if they just didn't have them or if it was illegal. I'm not sure. You've talked about how rule changes are game changers and they unlock innovation. So basically, now teens can open accounts. They do need to, I believe that they actually need to have like a parent open the account for them. But basically, there's this new wave of investors. We've seen the same thing with Robinhood that are able to trade, able to make deposits, able to, buy ETFs, all of those things. And so I think that you have this new huge cohort of people, and that'll continue to be true. Someone needs to create some sort of financial education game for these children, because the parents are going to be way more likely to allow their children to go trade these stocks if
Right.
they've had that. But also I think you can make it fun, right? Like we've talked before about how education is really boring most of the time. And so I think like TikTok generation, someone go create a financial education game for these kids.
Yeah, there was an idea that on the episode we did with Elaine, she said that has stuck with me. She goes, "Why isn't there fantasy sports for trading and or fantasy football for trading, basically?" And I was like, "That's kind of a great idea." And this sort of reminds me of that trend, which is there's already like Robinhood kind of like captured this opportunity that was kind of hidden in plain sight, which was that more people would trade if you lowered the friction, right? Put it on their phone, make it no fees for every trade, and make the UI simpler where you can just like see pretty charts and push buttons, and they would give you a free share of Apple or share of Tesla or whatever at the time when you signed up if you referred friends and all that good stuff. So they kind of Gen Z'd it up and did a good job there. But and then now there's this whole wave of like every version of stock trading app. It's like a stock trading app, social network, a stock trading app that's like super hardcore for options traders. And I actually think somebody should go into the other quadrant of the chart, which is basically like you're not doing it to get rich, you're doing it for fun. And what does that mean? And I think the fantasy trading game is kind of interesting here, where if I could do this with like, let's say, if I had a teenager, and it's something that a teenager could do with their friends or with their parents or their family, and everybody creates almost like daily fantasy. You basically create a monthly stock game. And the way it works is everybody gets the same budget. And then you get to allocate that into different stocks, and everybody sees what everybody invested in, and then it sort of plays out over the course of the month. And every day there's like trading news, so there's kind of like ups and downs as you go there, and then you basically create some kind of fantasy sports game around the stock market. And I think if you did that, you could definitely like fantasy sports. I think there's like 50 million plus players of it. I think that you could create a fantasy version of trading that may not have 50 million, but I think you can get into the millions of people who are participating in this. And that would be very valuable. Those leads would be very valuable because you could upsell them into actually trading, because they're going to have seen their fantasy portfolio crush it. And they're going to think, oh my God, I should go play the real game. So those leads are extremely valuable, whether you build it yourself or you sell it off to Robinhood or whoever else, you partner with them. Or you could even have like a premium version of this where it's like, oh, pay extra and you get whatever, some advanced like charts, metrics, like you save your history, whatever it is. So what do you think of this fantasy sports idea for the stock market?
No, I love it because, as I said, I think a lot of the time people try to acquire users like, let me just like do this promo or something. And really the easiest way to acquire users is to make something fun, right? So
Yep.
you would acquire all these users through this game. And the beauty of acquiring, maybe some people would think this is a little predatory, but acquiring users from 13 to 17 is that in 5 years, they're going to be 18
Right.
to
First job,
20. Yeah, exactly. To 22. And then, even past that, they're just going to be scaling in net worth, and you're acquiring them when they're really cheap and when it's easy to acquire them through things like a game. Right. And so you don't really see many banks doing that. Like
Steph the shark. I love it. The predatory Steph comes out. No more nice Steph on
no,
Twitter. This is the real calculating cold-blooded killer.
Why do you think YouTube and Instagram want to create versions for kids? I mean, it's so that they can acquire users easily and then kind of stick with those users for the next 5, 10, 20, 50 years. And I think, I mean, again, it's predatory. So if someone does this, please, do it well and do it, with good intentions. But it's true that, this is a rule unlock, right? Where these people are coming online, they have access to these products. And if you can do it in a smart way where parents feel good about your product, unlike, perhaps how parents feel about something like an Instagram for kids, then I think you're going to get a huge swath of users that will carry through with you for a long time.